what you are hearing, or will hear the next time they transmit, is an unlicensed repeater on a GMRS frequency. I've been listening to this for about the past week, and it starts up at 8 a.m. and runs all day, and big part of the time it's pretty much, I mean, there's a lot of traffic on it. There's no traffic right at the moment, but there was just a few minutes ago. And it varies, you know, there might be a few minutes between transmissions, but they definitely use this channel to the point that nobody else can use it. And here's the thing, like I said, it's unlicensed. I've been listening to it for about the past week, off and on, and I have never heard a call sign on it. I've never heard an identification, and that in itself would be against the law. But the thing is, it's a business entity. Well, it's not. It's business communications is what it is, but it's actually not a private business. But as a GMRS frequency, GMRS came out of the UHF business band, and there used to be businesses on it, but a number of years ago the FCC stopped issuing licenses to businesses, and they grandfathered licenses that were already on the channels as long as they maintained the license. But if they ever let the license lapse, then that was the end of it. They couldn't renew once they let it lapse. So at first, when I started hearing this, I thought that must be what it is. But the more I listened to it, and I was, you could tell there's traffic right there, but I was listening to addresses and so on. It became obvious that it was a transportation service, a taxi cab company or something. And the more I listened to it, they were giving out addresses and various little bits of information, and I figured out that it's actually a government operated transportation service. And I know exactly which one it is. I know which city it's in, nearby city, and I know, you know, I know what the entity is, and like I said, it's a local government entity. And I searched the FCC databases and also the databases of a couple of scanner forums, and I couldn't find anything on this frequency. I'm not going to tell you the frequency, but it's one of the 8 GMRS repeater pairs, and those, you know, can only be licensed to individuals. So individuals and families, but no businesses and no government agencies. So anyway, but I did a search to see if perhaps it, even though I'm not hearing any identification, that perhaps it actually was at one time at least licensed to some business or to this particular business. Well, I couldn't find anything licensed to that frequency other than GMRS users who, you know, all have equal access to it. And so I searched a little bit further, and in the FCC database, by digging deeper, I searched the files of licenses that were applied for but rejected. And several years ago, close to 20 years ago, it wasn't quite 20 years ago, but it was getting fairly close to it. There was this particular government agency that I suspected that this was, had applied for a license there, and it was rejected as being, specifically being a non-individual. And so apparently what it seems to me is they probably were given this repeater and some radios by another agency, and because that's probably why they wanted this specific frequency, is they probably had the equipment already and wanted to get the license for it. And so when that license was turned down, they apparently just decided to go ahead and fire up and use the channel anyway, regardless, without a license. So what this is a government agency that is illegally using a frequency that they have no license for. So it's a pirate radio repeater, but it's being operated by a government entity. And this goes on all day, every day. So basically, that means that we licensed users cannot use the frequency because of the traffic on it. We could use it at night, you know, but I could, for example, if I wanted to put a repeater on that frequency, I could, because I actually have the license to do so. But I can't, because this unlicensed government user already has a repeater there. So what do you guys think about that? Let me know in the comments below.